Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. In Phuket. Well, we're in Phuket right now. But there was a show in Phuket. What's the show called?
It was at Ali's
Boxing Club, right? What is there a name for this show?
I don't remember. I don't think so. But there were a bunch of, just professional boxing fights. I think there might have been 7 or 8
It was just all boxing?
Yep.
Okay, so at this event in Phuket at Ali's Boxing Club, which is on Soi Thayet, right?
Yep.
It's on the famous Soi Fitness Street. You know, if you've been to Thailand, you know this street. If you've been to Phuket, you know this street, right? It's down in the southern part of the island. Tiger Muay Thai's there. Lions MMA, just a bunch of Muay Thai gyms, fitness gyms, stores, cafes, everything is there. Like when people say, if you want to go train and you want to just be engulfed in training, you just get a place on that street and you could just walk everywhere. You don't even need a scooter. You don't even know, none of that.
Right.
But at Ali's, there's a video going viral right now of a guy in a boxing match, and he was getting pieced up, I believe, by his opponent, and then he threw a head kick and knocked him out cold.
Yeah, like
during a boxing match.
Right.
And this is all the stuff. Okay, before we get into it, this is a serious situation, but before we get into it, this is all the stuff that we said when like Conor was fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Like, how would you just throw a head kick? There was like in the clause, if he threw a kick,
right,
like, there would be penalties, right?
Absolutely.
But this is like boxing at the very lowest level, right? So, but these guys are professional fighters, right?
Yeah.
They're professional MMA fighters. So the professional MMA fighter, his name is Idris Rashidov. He head kicked his opponent during a boxing match.
Yeah.
Which is fucking. It's so disrespectful.
Extremely.
It gives a bad name to fighting in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because this is going viral, right? And boxing, now they have to respond to it. Like the association, now they're saying that he's facing a lifetime ban in boxing.
Right. And I think that's warranted for doing something like that.
Oh, for sure. You know, he threw a head kick. The dude's in a boxing match. You think he's worried about dude throwing a head kick? No.
Right. Yeah.
It's like pretty much soccer kicking somebody that has no idea that they're like someone's looking at. Like, let's say I was sitting down like this, just chilling, not even worrying about a thing, and then someone just comes from the side and just kicks me in the head.
Boom.
Shin the fucking face, right? That's basically what happened.
Right.
Okay? And you know, Idris, he signed. I don't know if he's signed, but he's a 4-0 prospect.
Yeah.
In MMA. Very good record.
Yeah.
He's fought on One Friday Fights.
Yep.
And the guy that he faced was a 2-0 professional boxer, Bagher Faraji.
Yep.
I think that's his name.
That's right.
And he pushed Idris into the 4th round, and he was appearing to be winning the boxing match. And then that's when he threw the head kick and knocked him out cold.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly like how they're punishing him.
Right.
But they disqualified him, and no remorse was spared. That's what it says in the article. No remorse was spared by Idris, who took to Instagram on October 21st and appeared to gloat. What? Yeah. He was gloating about the knockout. So he made his debut in professional boxing, Idris wrote, translated from Russian, and a lifelong disqualification. I threw out that kick with a machine gun. This is translated into Russian. I don't know exactly
Right.
But he's posted the knockout on his Instagram, and this is what he wrote on it in Instagram. You know, poorly translated.
Right, right.
Man, people are screaming for him to be banned from fighting. Like they're asking like One Championship to do something about it. I don't even know if he's signed, because when you're fighting for One Friday Fights, doesn't mean that you're signed to One Championship.
Right, they're one-off like fight contracts, right?
Exactly. A lot of the times, some guys might have multiple fight contracts or whatever,
okay.
but usually those fights are like one at a time, one fight contracts, right? We've known a couple people that compete on those things,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're not like exclusive deals with one championship or nothing like that.
Hmm.
So one championship is not responsible for this guy,
Right,
right?
right.
Because he's not, he's probably not signed to them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if a lifetime ban is something that you want to do from fighting, but he definitely needs to be punished some way.
Right. Yeah, it's like you probably should not be. Yeah, like if professional boxing like associations want to ban him, there's got to be some legal ramification for like what he's done, right? Because it's like, because the damage done on the other person too. If they're like, the other guy was like 2-0, right? And he's also a professional boxer. To get knocked out cold like that probably means you got to take it easy for like several weeks, if not a couple months, if you want to be safe and make sure you don't come back too early and risk reoccurring like concussion symptoms and stuff like that. So so as the result of an illegal action, this guy's probably sidelined for, let's say, like 3 months minimum, for a knockout like that, right? You really fucked up his career by doing something like that to him. Like, that was no small amount of damage done to somebody over something that should not have happened in the first place. And then now, he doesn't seem to regret doing so at all. So like it's a very messed up situation.
Yeah, it's disrespectful to the sport. It's disrespectful to his opponent. It's
Hmm.
disrespectful to the event. Disrespectful to like everybody that's involved because they signed on to have a fair fight. Like you
Hmm.
stepped into the fight believing that your opponent is going to follow the exact same rules that you're going to follow.
Absolutely.
And you go in there and do something like this, like pretty much breaking the most important rule is when in combat you follow the rules, which is
Yeah.
you only strike with the hands,
Right.
right? That's
Yeah.
it. You only strike with the hands. That's
Hmm.
that's the rules. Very simple,
Yeah.
right? You're boxing. You
Right.
strike, you punch.
Definitely.
No, there's no elbows, there's no knees, there's no kicks. There's just punching, right?
Right.
It's a bad look for the fight community in
Hmm.
Thailand as well,
Hmm.
because people in Thailand are going to see this and be like, look at the foreigners fucking it up again.
Yeah.
And right now in Thailand, there's a lot of foreigners fucking up.
Yeah, because if you let things like this happen and you don't reinforce anything at all, people are gonna be less willing to partake in these
Mm.
fights, because now they're like, well, it's the wild wild west out here. It's like, I don't want to get hurt. It's like, so what if they say this is in the rules? Like, look what happened last time when that dude got head kicked in a boxing fight. So like, so I'm sure if they don't do anything about this now, there's gonna be negative ramifications down the line with events like this, simply because, oh well, the organization is not gonna protect me from stuff that shouldn't even happen in the first place. I don't want to participate in this thing. Like, why should I? The risk is super high. So like, there is that consideration.
Yeah.
If you are considering participating in an event like this, like, that's exhibit A for why you wouldn't want to participate.
And like if this is something that's going on, Muay Thai is Muay Thai, right? The
Hmm.
police and whatever the government, it's a national sport. They're not going to shut down Muay Thai.
Hmm.
But when you're having like foreigners throw these events at gyms,
Hmm.
and they're like boxing or MMA or whatnot, the police could just come in and be like, "Yo, shut it off.
Right.
Like, this event is not going to exist." Like,
Hmm.
and they don't even have to tell you they're coming. They just show up the night of the event and just shut shit down.
Hmm.
It's a big possibility that that could happen, right?
Yeah.
And you can't do nothing about it because this is not your country. I think that people forget about that
Mm.
when they're here,
Right.
because it's just so free here, and it's just like English is spoken it's very common for everybody to be speaking English. You don't even really have to learn the language to
Right.
get around,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Especially on this island. And I think people forget that you're in another country. You
Mm.
have no rights, right? You do have rights, but you don't have no rights. Like, you should be living, you know, by their rules
Yeah.
and the Thai people's rules, right? The
Right.
country's rules. And a lot of foreigners forget that. They think like they're entitled because they come from a different country, or like, oh,
Yeah.
my country is lives better than this country, so like they like look down on the country.
Right,
You
right.
know, and I think like, why would you even come here then if you think so low of the people
That's
in this
true.
country, and like you disrespect the rules and stuff. And I've noticed that with like people in Thailand, is like they're starting to get tired of it.
Mm.
And this is another example, and they could just point to this and be like, "Look, another foreigner fucking up again."
That's
Imagine
true.
if the boxer was Thai.
Oh, Jesus.
Imagine the outrage that would happen if luckily it's two foreigners fighting.
Yeah.
But imagine the boxer was Thai boxer,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was a guy that's Thai, in professional boxing, dude.
Oh,
It would
God.
be insane. Like it
Yeah.
would be on the news.
Absolutely.
They're lucky it's foreigner on foreigner.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a Thai person getting knocked out, ooh. Jesus.
Changes the dynamic of it, right?
Yeah, true. True. But, oh my God, yeah, that would be... Like, the cops would get on it, probably. Like, knowing them. Yeah, it's like, on some level, foreigners have to realize that, like, yes, we welcome, Thai people welcome foreigners to the country and stuff. It's obviously good for the economy, and, like, it's a nice experience, hopefully, for the most part. But they also have to accept that, in part, they are, in some shape or form, a guest in somebody else's house, right? And so, they're not entitled to just act like they own the place. So it's something they got to be careful about sometimes. It's like, this house might have different rules than, the house that you grew up in. Like, that's...
Yeah. If you look at a country as someone's house,
Yeah.
when you go into someone's house, you're really respectful, and like you go in there and you clean things when you use things,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's how your mentality should be whenever you go to any country, any other
Absolutely.
country that's not your country, right?
Mhm.
And show respect, because like let's say in America, if you go to someone's house and you disrespect, they could shoot you in the head and be like, "Oh, it's self-protection," like self-defense,
Right.
like rules, right?
Mhm.
You and me both grew up in America for periods in our life, to where we understand those rules of like, in America, guns is just a normal thing that
Yep.
is part of your life, right? And then if someone forcefully enters your home, like you have the right to murder them. You have the right to kill them because they are threatening your space.
Yeah.
And in this situation, they could look at it as that. And that's why I say they're lucky it's not a Thai fighter.
Mhm.
Because if it was a Thai fighter in a boxing match, ooh,
Yeah.
this dude would have been kicked out the country already.
Yeah, and I was told they managed to get that dude out of the venue without any damage done to him. Like, obviously, they tried to get him out of the venue as soon as possible, because
Yeah.
obviously a fight would have broke out somewhere, right? Like,
Oh, for sure.
all that kind of retaliation. So
This can escalate into some bad things.
Yeah.
Because it all depends on like where the other guy was from,
Mm.
and like what's his crew look like
Yeah.
that came over with him. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
For
there,
sure.
like there's there's all kinds of people that come through here. So you just don't know who you're messing with. And I just say like, outside of that, he really fucked up. Like this is bad, dude.
Mhm.
Bad look for the street as well. The whole fitness community. It's all
Right.
tied in together, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
fitness people, they don't even care about this stuff because they're fitness. They're not fighting. They're not doing jiu-jitsu. They're not doing kickboxing, Muay Thai. They're just doing fitness.
Mhm.
But it's
Yeah. Whole thing leaves a bad taste in
Yeah.
your mouth, Like,
sure.
yeah.